Hey everyone, Jamie Pate here, and this is going to be a fun video today. Well, I actually hope they're all fun videos today. This one is a process video of a tag I had put out on Instagram a few posts ago using brand new Chapter 1 2023 Tim Holtz and Sizzix dies. This particular tag actually utilizes two different dies. So we're going to jump in from beginning to end on this tag tutorial, and I hope you're inspired to make it yourself because that is the most fun. Let's get going. Okay, so you can see here I have this multi-layered tag, and it's just layered in so many ways. It's like where to begin. Okay, so we're going to begin with the background, and that's where we're going to start first. I have this smooth white cardstock, and I colored it using inks, of course, Distress Oxide inks, as well as a gel plate, and I'm going to show you how I did that. Then there in the background, you'll see some rub-ons from 49 Market because they are my favorite things to put on a background are those rub-ons. And then this Gratitude is a brand new stamp set coming to ScrapbookCom, and I love it. I haven't had a lot of time to dabble in it, so this was kind of a first foray. Then you can see all these little mini blooms, and that's exactly what this is called. It's called Brushstroke Flowers Mini, and there's a whole bunch to them, and I have a couple of them on here with the leaves from that set, as well as the leaves from the Abstract Elements set. Now let's talk about that for just a moment here by way of introduction. You can see I have a couple here on, seems like I had more, and now they've gone away. Here's another one. I have a couple here already here in this little collage that I have on my table. Those just some of the leaves. You can see there's a little bit of ink on them, and that's because I use them to make my inked background. And I'll show that to you in a moment. But then I also have these guys right here that are part of those there. And you can see all of them in this 43-piece set, like I said, called Abstract Elements. Okay, honestly, when I get something like this, my brain goes, what do I do with this? So I showed you two ways already that I have used this set on my tag. It's on the background, and I'll unpack that in a second. I used it as part of the die cut cluster, and right here on the edge, they're just kind of peeking out there too. I just love the subtleness of that. It's not very obvious, but it definitely brings a little something to this tag. Okay, I'm going to stop talking, and we're going to jump into making our inked background first. Okay, to get started, I have a couple things I need to bring out here and kind of explain for a moment. If you follow me here on my channel, you probably haven't seen me use a gel plate too much at all. But I really do love them. I have paper here on this other side. I have learned that when you're not using them, to use just like a text weight paper and smooth out all the bubbles. It just likes to have that kind of surface going on. So then what I did next, this month I am super into some of these colors here. Uncharted, Mariner, Evergreen Bough, and the Peeled Paint. Also, what I have grabbed is this redesign brayer, and I just bought this one recently. It's nice and wide. I have like every size under the rainbow. This one I'm really loving for this kind of technique. Then, of course, you need what is so famously called a substrate. This is your background. This is what the ink is going to sit on. This is a 3 by 5.5 inch piece of white cardstock. It's fairly smooth, and the reason this works in this situation, because you've seen me do some other oxide distress and use waters and whatnot, the reason this works is because it's only ink and I'm not adding water to this. So that's why I can use a little bit thinner weight, not necessarily a mixed media type background paper. Okay, so we got that out of the way. So I have here the surface to my gel plate, and it's actually on its storage container. I just like the little bit of height there. So I'm going to start with the peeled paint, and here's the thing. This is my little disclaimer. This looks a certain way here already. I'm not going to be able to completely replicate this, and I hope you're okay with that because I don't really know how. I just know how to do what I did before, and however it comes out, well, then that's what it's going to look like. So I like to just kind of, when I'm using inks, and typically the gel plates are used with paint. And I've done that before, and I love it, and I enjoy that whole getting messy thing, and I love just the different things that the paints do. But I also really dig the oxide on here as well. So I'm just putting a smattering of swished, can I say swished colors? I have a little thing from the ink here. I want to pull that off. I don't want that to be on my surface. All right, and then this is when I come in here and I'm just kind of smushing this together. And I've decided I don't want the storage tin as my background. I decided it's a little too smushy. I'd rather have just the surface of my table. Okay, so then I'm taking white piece of paper, right? My white tag, just kind of lightly going over it. It's going to pick up the ink, and it's going to pick it up in whatever fashion I have brayered it to the background. So hopefully you can see that. This is just, I've been doing this a lot. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back over this a little bit, and I like to kind of make sure I don't have lines sitting on the surface of the gel plate. Now I've already pre-cut these. Here, let's use this one here. I've already pre-cut these abstract elements from white cardstock. You can see I've already done this, but this is just another scrap piece of paper. And what I want to do is just go over this with my brayer. I'm just wanting to take a little bit of ink off of the surface of the gel plate. And you can see this is all ready to be another background as well. Setting that aside, pulling up my abstract die cuts. And these can be anything, right? Any kind of leaves. Hearts would be great for this next month for Valentine's Day. Flowers, any sort of thing. Okay, so here now is the surface that I've decided I want to work with. I'm going to put this upside down right over where I have a little bit of that previous die cut kind of on this surface. It's not kind of on the surface, it is on the surface. And it's going to give me yet another kind of pattern. So now you can see, hopefully, super subtle, the background now of these leaves and this kind of abstract, well, element, for lack of a better word. Now, this is a little bit more obvious than what is on this page. On this tag here, I don't know if you can see my leaf. I actually kind of preferred it being super subtle, but we're gonna own it, and I might even turn it. I don't know which way I want to turn it, but you can see my point is look how different the backgrounds are. And again, if you don't like how your background turned out, if you're making this tag, well, then make another one and save this for something else, put something else on it. Okay, let's get to the next part. Okay, I've set my background aside, and now I'm going to work, the next part we're going to work on is making these flowers. And so what I'm going to do is I'm using the Uncharted Mariner, doing the same thing I did before. I've already cleaned my gel plate. I just used water and I cleaned it up. And I just used water and I cleaned my brayer. So now I just want to kind of get this smushed out. As you can see on the tag here, let's kind of put it at the side here. This is not a very vibrant blue, is it? It's pretty soft. But believe it or not, it is Uncharted Mariner. So this is just all about just creating a background color for my die cuts. And you're going to see that is that. And it's just a solid blue. A little distressed because the gel surface is not perfect. And I love it. So I'm going to now take the brush stroke flowers and cut out a bunch of these blossoms. just want to jump back in here and talk about the blooms that I have, the flowers that I have ready to go, and I've layered their brush stroke, if you will, on them, but I just felt like they needed just a little bit more pop, and I did this the first time I made this tag. So I came in with the evergreen bough and an ink blending tool, and then I came in also with the Uncharted Mariner. I feel like maybe I got a little heavy on the Uncharted Mariner, but you know, as I talk about later on, it's mixed media, it's not perfect, there's no one way, and it's okay. I'm grabbing the Harvest cardstock because I just was pointing out that I'm using this green for all those die cut leaves from both the abstract elements and the brush strokes that you can see up there in the right corner. So now for the stamping, I wanted the gratitude to be my main word on my tag, and so I am using the Misty platform because it just provides just some precision, and I only want the gratitude word, right? So you're gonna see I'm gonna take a minute on this other side here where the stamp is sitting on the cover, and I'm layering Uncharted Mariner, and I didn't cover it completely, and I thought maybe I'd go over it again, but I really liked how distressed it was, so I just owned it. And again, I've talked already about my love for the 49 and Market rub-ons, and this little sheet is getting a little cut through, and that's okay. You're going to notice later on that I actually add a little bit more to this part of the rub-on here on the bottom lower corner, and it worked. It just totally works. So I'm going to kind of eyeball my next part. I'm kind of cutting this more text portion of this particular rub-on, and I'm going to then, like I did on the previous tag, eyeball where it needs to go, up here towards the top. Okay, so at this point, basically all our elements are ready to go. You can kind of see here off to the top here, I have a bunch of green from the Harvest cardstock, both the brushstroke mini flower as well as the abstract elements. And I'm going to start my flowers off with some height. I'm going to try and be good about overlapping the rub-ons that I already have laid down. So you notice here, I'm only using 2 of the flowers. You saw me cutting those out earlier. I'm going to show you this here. Those are only 2 actual die cuts, and it ends up being 3 different flowers. I'm really looking forward to getting some more time to craft with this because I just think the possibilities are endless for just some beautiful makes, some cards, some tags. I'm trying to decide how I want this to go here. And so what to me I think really makes this tag pop, and you could have your own opinion on that, and that's fine. Maybe there's something else that really struck out to you. Actually, really quick here, I want to just make sure I'm giving a little bit of a lift to the petals. I'm just going through and just doing that gently by hand, just as gently as I can, just so you can see it's just got a lift now and it's not laying flat on the tag. What I'm going to do here next is just take my greenery, and I was getting ready to say what to me I think really makes this tag is all the lushness of these leaves. So this is not like something that I feel like I absolutely know. Whoop. Hello, do you want some glue on there? There you go. All right, I cleaned off that that monstrous amount of glue. And I will tell you too, I got a lot of things I want to say about this. One of the things I really would rather use with this is hot glue. And so I don't have my hot glue gun out, I have my glue out, and it still works, especially when you go in and you kind of lift those leaves. You still have that texture and that lift that you want. Okay, so what was I saying before? I don't consider myself a fancy mixed media artist. I just literally dabble. I don't think I'm great at it. I just have fun with it though. And so I don't have a lot of rules here to tell you that you do it this way, do it that way. I wonder if I give myself enough room here with my gratitude. And we're just gonna have to make it work, huh? I can come up here and lift this. And this is exactly to my point right here. There is no perfect rhyme or reason, even for putting these leaves in here. I think I could actually add a bit more in here, but I think you basically get the idea. And we pretty much did recreate our background and our layers of flowers and leaves and abstract elements, our gratitude, right? That's the whole point of this. And then just layered on backgrounds of other tags if you want, or leave it like it is. Put it on a card front, put it in your memory planner, put it in your art journal. I mean, use this anywhere and everywhere. Put a beautiful photo right next to it for your scrapbook page. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found some inspiration. And I hope if you have any questions that you'll leave them in the comment section. And I will see you in the next video.